So we wanted to talk about a bit about overcoming your gameplay fears in Street Fighter V, because let's face it, this game it's a little notorious for being a little spooky, a little scary. Sometimes you're in the corner in a tough spot. Sometimes someone's staring you down. They got that super meter loaded up, and you're holding down back for your dear life. Sometimes you're not in the best of positions, but we've seen time and time again the best of the best know how to overcome these odds and overcome these scenarios and survive in the most dire circumstances. So how do they do it? Let's talk about that.
So I want to give a big shout out to the person who actually inspired this topic, Brian, and that is none other than Medium Buffalo Wings on r/Street Fighter. He actually has a post on Reddit r/Street Fighter called Overcoming. No, not Overcoming, but he just said, oh yeah, it is. Overcoming throw fear is what he talked about. But basically, he said he's an old school player. He likes to fight in neutral. He tries not to jump as much as possible. He resists all urges to jump. And as far as but he said as far as the throw game, it's very hard for him to get down how to defend against throws properly. It's so hard for him to get a read on his opponent's throw timing. So I feel like that's a big weakness in his game. So there's a whole lot of things there. For one, where he says he likes to overcome any and all urge to jump, I feel like there's certain, what would I say, principles, certain rules, quote unquote, in fighting games that exist for good reason. But these rules are meant to be broken if you're gonna be good. In the end of the day, I against Balrog with Karen, I'll probably almost never jump. I was thinking that because I'm talking to Brian, Balrog, Karen. However, maybe if I'm in the corner, maybe I might just jump back because I think he's gonna do a dash punch. Or maybe against some characters, I might jump out of the corner, let's say a Shoto character, even though I know they might anti-air me, but they're gonna anti-air with a DP. And that DP gives them no Oki, and I'm out of the corner, so it was worth it taking that damage right there. And sometimes my opponent might just not be that good at anti-airing, so I have to take advantage of that. So I think it's good to not have super steadfast rules. Now, when it comes to the throw part,
before we move on, I just want to add on to that. You got to learn the rules so that you can break them later. That's the point of it. When people say these platitudes and they're just saying never jump, always take the throw, all these things, they're, first of all, it's top player, Illuminati speak here. It's top player propaganda to hold down the scrubs who want to just jump and mash throw attack all the time so that they play a certain way so that top players always win. Okay, it's not really that. But the reason it's said that way is because it makes things simple when you're trying to explain to somebody who's still learning the game. When you're a new player, if you're playing a stronger player who has their anti-airs on point, stop jumping because they're just going to anti-air you every time because you don't know how to jump yet. And so it's not worth it to you.
Jump, because
it's not worth it to you
to jump. Even that person who's anti-airing everything, you can jump on them.
Yes.
Depending on the scenario. And the
yes,
space
but you're not good enough at the ground game to earn the right to jump. That's the truth of the matter. So it's not that you should never jump. It's that you don't want to dip your hand into the cookie jar too much too soon before you eat your vegetables, and you know what I'm saying. You got to get the basics down first before you can really indulge. And I think that's why people say never jump when you're a new player. But one day you will earn the right to jump, and you will land some fat jump-ins on somebody who's not paying attention and get big damage. So in due time, you should learn to jump. Every once in a while, you should do a jump in. Don't be too scared to try some new things.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And as far as the throw side of things, there's a multitude of ways to look at it. But I feel like when you're talking about kind of earning the right, I think that can kind of go to the defending against throws as well. Because the thing is, on one hand, if your neutral is extremely strong, your actual just ground game, your footsie game is really strong, technically you can take the throw and you're back to neutral, so you're going to be able to smoke the person 9 times out of 10. But another way to look at it is that I can kind of afford to break the rules more, because even if you do guess right and punish me for backdashing or something like that, and I can feel like, in the end of the day, even this life deficit right here isn't that significant because my neutral game is so strong. So it's just worth it for me to just introduce this into the mind game. There are some times where you're going to see, I might be ahead in a very serious big tournament match and have a whole lot of health, and my opponent has no health left. They just hit me into V-trigger, they knock me down. I'm mid-screen, and I have a lot of health, and if I take the throw, I'm gonna be completely fine, but I might wake up DP. if I hit, I win around. If it doesn't hit, I'm still alive, but maybe my stun is pretty high, and I'm in the corner. Now I'm in a dangerous spot. But you've seen this with, I don't care, any strong players, big tournaments, you have seen scenarios like that before. And then if it hits, like, you see Daigo do it and it hits, it's, that's godlike. If it gets blocked, and we're like, yo, why would he DP right there? He didn't need to do that. That was so wild. But it's kind of just hard to explain. That just kind of comes into play in high-level gameplay.
Hindsight is 2020, man. It's 2020.
In general, I like against players that I feel like I'm significantly stronger than. I'm probably not going to take risk on defense 9 times out of 10, but I'm sure in medium Buffalo Chicken's post, he's more just talking about players around his skill level, people that he's run to and ranked and stuff like that. So there was something very interesting that Big Bird had brought up to me before, and I agree with this to some degree. I have 2 different anecdotes for this one, actually, from 2 different people. Big Bird, he said that he got to a point where when he had that great run from Evo, and he had one big CPT event and stuff, and he was saying that he got to the point where he stopped trying to read his opponents as much. Like, he just stopped and started just playing it by the numbers, because he felt like when he tried to read his opponents too much, it kind of like just, it's too tough to be consistent with that. Whereas if he just plays it by the numbers, he finds that he gets overall more consistency. So if you just have a lot of health and it's mid-screen, I'm taking a throw. I don't care. I'm taking a throw. No matter what, I'm going back to neutral. That's one way you could go about it. Then you don't have to worry about reading your opponent. But then someone like Mr. Crimson plays it completely differently. He believes that it doesn't make any sense to let your opponent just know exactly what you're going to do. And it's worth it to add those different options. So I would say the important thing is to think of whatever your theory, whatever you think is best, and stick to that. I think that's the best thing that you can do.
I feel like there's something deeper here with this message. There's something kind of it's more psychological. It's deep down in the mind. You have to be okay with not always being 100% in control. I think that's what's happening here deep down. Beyond, like, Rob, you're going on the high level meta. I bet you medium Buffalo Wings here doesn't even know why you want to take the throw, right? That's even that on its own is a whole discussion. What does it mean, take the throw? Oh, you take the throw mid-screen because you go back to neutral. What? That's different language. What are you even saying to me, right? Most normal people have no idea what we're talking about when you say that. So I think at the fundamental level, in fighting games, and especially Street Fighter V, sometimes you're going to take damage. So you have to be okay with it. You cannot expect to win with a perfect. If you win with a perfect or you win with a pixel, you don't get more accolades, you don't get more prize money, you get the round and it's all the same at the end of the day. So you're trying to win by all means possible. And the path to the win will involve situations where you're not in control, and that's okay. You need to let go of that idea of reacting to every single approach, with punishing every button, teching every throw, understanding every mix-up that's going to come. It's not going to happen. It is just not. You are not going to tech every throw. There's a fundamental misconception with lower level players, I find, where they say, oh, wait, can I react to the throw? Like, that's a thing that most people think that I should react.
Yeah.
You don't react to throws. You react to the situation where you think a throw is occurring. That's why you see, even at the highest level, someone takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then you see a big throw whiff, and then Guile goes, what? And then they get smacked in the face and lose half their life. Because you never react to the actual throw animation. And if you say you are, you're lying and you don't know what you're talking about, because humans cannot react that fast. That's just a fact. That's how the game is designed. Fighting games are designed around the limits of human reactions, and we play at that barrier, and that's where the mind games come in, right? So you're not reacting to the throw tech, you're reacting to the situation. So that said, sometimes you're not gonna know if they're gonna throw or not. So you either need to look back and be like, why am I in this situation where they're close enough to throw me in the first place? That's the first step, right? Why am I even in this bad situation in the first place? Next, when you're in that situation, does it make sense to even risk the throw tech or not? Or should I take the throw? Because after a throw, if you're mid-screen, for example, most of the time, they can't really pressure you after. You're back to neutral. Things cool down a bit. Now, if you're in the corner, well, you've already lost several other interactions because now you're in the corner. You got out footsied, you got out neutral, or someone jumped at you randomly and your anti-airs are whack. Now you're in the corner. Well, bad things happen in the corner. This is where you need to believe in your play. You're not going to know what's going to happen next 100%.
You got to just make the read.
You got to commit.
There now.
Are you going to backdash, maybe predicting a button to kind of scramble their offense, maybe flip out and cause a scramble situation to swing it in your favor? Commit to the tech because you know 100% they're going to throw? Or are you going to hold up forward, wake up low forward, DP? You think it's fake pressure, you're going to jab? There's many options that happen here, and they're all risky.
No matter what.
Blocking is risky too.
You have to choose the way, you have to choose. I always say, you have to choose the way that you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you're going to lose, but you have to. A part of playing fighting games is, okay, if he's gonna have in this spot, he's gonna have to command grab me to kill me. He's gonna have to throw me 4 times, or he's gonna have to press this button because I'm not taking this throw right now. But at that spot, the main thing that you analyze is how you got to that spot in the first place, if you are in the corner. But I said a big thing, bro, is to realize that one of the things that helped me out so much was realizing that fighting games, even the first of 2, they're so long. These sets are a lot longer than a lot of people think. The better you get at the game, and it kind of like the cliche in sports, where you hear a lot of athletes say, the game slows down for you. You have all the time in the world. Think of it like this: if your opponent was to just down back, we've all played people in rank where this dude is not good, but he just kind of just blocks all day. But he has no offense or nothing, he has no threat, he just blocks all day. But off of that alone, you cannot KO him fast. There's nothing you can do. The game is just built like that. You have to try to walk up and throw him 1,000 times or something like that. So in the end of the day, you have all the time in the world to analyze. You don't have to be too worried when you get into those tight spot situations, unless it's a last game, last round type of thing. So in the end of the day, you have a lot of situations where you can play neutral. And I think you have to choose to wrap up, you have to choose how you are willing to lose that round. And like Brian said, don't worry about having full control of every situation, because if there was a perfect right answer, then fighting games wouldn't be fun in the first place.
Exactly. It's not a mathematical problem. It's a human element involved. And I think you just have to make your choice and live with it and be okay with it. That's the number one thing. Don't be scared of being in the corner, taking some throws or mashing. Make your choice. See if it was effective or not. Understand why it did or didn't work, and learn from there. That's all you can do, man. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, and you're gonna lose a lot.
Yeah,
you're gonna lose a lot, and then even if you get better and start winning, you're gonna lose more.
There's a subconscious part, bro. I'm sure you can speak to too. Is just the fact that eventually, your subconscious, from playing so much and having so much experience, you just know certain stuff that you couldn't really put into words, but you know. So the more that you practice and the more that you train, you also are going to gain a sharper instinct. So even though those situations are, let's say, 50-50 situations, someone who's stronger, in my opinion, they're going to typically have a higher percentage of making the right read in that spot or guessing right in that spot than someone who's weak.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of things that you instinctively learn over time, and eventually you get to the point where you can call stuff out. I'll be streaming of I know this guy's gonna do this 30 seconds into the match. I know how the rest of the match is gonna play out. So it comes with time, and if you're in a scary situation, it's okay. You'll take some L's along the way. But one final point I guess I would make: if you're having trouble with throw situations, this kind of loops back to the never jumping part. Maybe we should take the throw a little bit, because that is mathematically the less risky option usually. I feel like for some people who are too tech happy, sometimes just playing a couple of games where you just don't tech to learn your other options can help you gain perspective and then introduce all the options back in. So you can always try that. If you're not thinking and you're mashing tech every time, that's what some players do. They don't think. They just reflexively tech. Then maybe tell yourself, hey, this game, I'm gonna be okay with getting thrown. I'll live. Maybe not through 5 or 6 of them, but through the first one, you'll be okay.
Seriously.